to the Chris and Sam podcast. Pull up a bar stool and join us for a random conversation, guaranteed to make you think or your money back.
This is episode number 3, Armageddon in New Zealand. Hey Chris, how's it going?
Hey Sam, good. How are you?
Yeah, good. This is episode number 3 of the Chris and Sam podcast, and let's get right into it. So a bit of news today. A Spanish woman has had to confess to her husband that she cheated on him at the hen's night with a dwarf. Now this all came about because 9 months after the hen's night, she gave birth to a baby and it had dwarfism. So it's pretty big here in New Zealand to have that what goes on tour stays on tour mentality. So whatever happens at these things, you sort of keep it between yourselves. But when you spit out a sprog that's not yours,
I have trouble with that one. Like, okay, so I can see maybe the women jumping on these strippers and stuff, and getting a little bit too. But a dwarf stripper, really?
Apparently they're quite big in Spain, and they are called...
The big dwarfs.
No, they are. They've got heaps of entertainers, that dwarf, and they're called little boys, I think, was what the thing was. Something in the technology side, a lot of free apps used to spy on millions of phones. Actually, the example is any of the flashlight apps. Apparently there's a lot of shady ones out there. So if you install an app and it says, I need all these permissions, like to check your messages and answer your phone calls,
and check your location.
It's probably not a good idea. Just find one that, once in a blue moon, I do find an app that says, I don't need any permissions to do anything. I'm just going to do what I've been advertised to do. And it's like, whoa. And those apps won't have advertising or anything. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And two 20-year-olds from Brisbane, Australia have set up a charity called Orange Sky Laundry. They outfitted a van and they've got a couple of washers and dryers in the back. And they've been driving around for the last month and doing the homeless people's clothes. Now, this has been pretty big news in Australia. Like, the media's been picking it up. They've got a lot of support from people, including people with the van and the dryers and all that sort of stuff. And you can support them by prepaying $6 for a load of washing to be done for a homeless person.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Well, when you think about it is really cool. It's a bit different. So just check them out, facebook.com/OS Laundry AU, and you can see what the guys have been up to there.
Well, I like that. That's pretty good. Do you think that sort of thing would catch on over here?
I was thinking about it, and I don't know. I think we have a different type of homeless person here. I don't know.
What do you mean about a different type of homeless person?
I just don't think they'd go for it. They'd probably try and steal your washing machine. And well, the thing here, that's just my opinion, but in other parts of the world, you have pure homeless people, and a small proportion of them have mental health issues. I think we're the other way around. I think all homeless people here have mental health issues and aren't just homeless, and we're not addressing that first problem, which is the mental health issue.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good call, because in my experience, and I see a lot of them walking through town here.
I've just passed 2 of them driving to your house this morning.
Yeah, and they accost you in the street, and some of what they say just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So yeah, I'd agree with that.
So these guys are doing a great thing, and we all know what it's like to be wearing nice, clean clothes. So for $6, these homeless people must feel like $1 million.
Yeah, that's cool.
After living in their clothes for
a really good idea. I'm just interested, how do you get all the water in the van to do a washing machine? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. I have no idea. They did have a whole bunch of photos of them rigging up the van. So it's got a false...
because it'd have to have a huge water tank or something.
It's got like a false floor. I know that. And then it's all wired up to power everything. So unless they hook into like a hose...
Yeah.
On the side of the road, find a tap.
Because I suppose the dirty water going out can be fine. It'll just go out into the gutter.
Yeah, I guess if the council's okay with that, but I'm sure they looked into it.
Yeah.
And there's other people on their Facebook site saying, we're going to start this up we're going to start that up in other parts of the world. Right. So I don't know if it's an actual thing that's happening everywhere, but these Australian guys are doing it and are in the news at the moment.
Cool. All right, so what did you get up to in the weekend, Sam?
Well, I went to Rotorua and hung out there, but I thought we'd talk about Armageddon first, because I didn't go to Armageddon, and I was a little bit gutted I didn't, but that's okay. There's always next year. But I know you went.
Yeah, okay. So for those that don't know, Armageddon is like, the New Zealand equivalent of Comic-Con. Would you say that's about right? Yeah. So it's a bunch of nerds
Enthusiast.
In fact, enthusiast. In fact, I had a really, I had to laugh because one of the girls that came along we were promoting a movie. I'll talk about that in a second. But one of the girls that came along had never been to Armageddon, doesn't know anything about anything.
Was she with you guys?
Yeah, she was with us.
Wow, that would have been eye-opening for her.
Oh, yeah. And so, but the funny thing is, she'd asked somebody at work, wherever she works, I forget now, what's this Armageddon like? And he goes, well, there's a lot of hot women in costume that are nerds that don't know they're hot. And there's a lot of geeky guys that look at the hot women but can't think that it'd ever get anywhere, so they never ask them out. So never the twain shall meet.
Yes,
and she said afterwards, that's exactly right. So, yeah, no, it was good. It was good. So we were there to promote the Star Wars Outcasts movie, fan film that we're doing. We got there, got dressed up. The thing when you're doing the promotion, and I knew this, so I didn't look at the program too much because I just knew we're not going to see bugger all, really.
No, and that happens with any event. If you're involved in it or you're promoting something, you do not get time to walk around like a general member of the public to see things.
I know. And it was a shame because I dragged one of my friends in Auckland along. She'd never been either to Armageddon or anything like that. And she was a bit gutted because we missed Jenna Coleman because she's a Doctor Who fan. I would have liked to see Jenna Coleman because I'm a Jenna Coleman fan.
You just want to see her in person instead of just on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so we missed Jenna Coleman, but it was good. We got a lot of... we staked out an area in front of a black curtain. We had people just coming past taking photos of us.
Were you set up... Like, you didn't have an actual area as such, did you?
No.
Okay, so you a bit of guerrilla marketing. Let's just lurk around.
It was totally guerrilla marketing.
I saw a couple of photos that you guys had posted to the Facebook page, which was cool. Were you hanging around with what's the Star Wars? Is it the 501st?
501st, yeah. So the 501st Legion is an international sort of fan club of Star Wars, all stormtroopers, and you've got to be. There's a lot of rules to it. You've got to be over 18. You've got to get your armor made to certain specifications, and it costs $1,000 to $2,000 for your armor. And
so you can't. It's not just do it on the whim. You have to be pretty dedicated.
Yeah, you
got
to be right into it. But they turn up at all these things. They have a stand and they collect money for charity. I think it's kids' charity. I can't remember. I know we threw some money in, but yeah. So they're really good guys, and they had this great set because what you don't notice in the photo, it looks like a control panel. All those screens have got wired diagrams moving around and all that stuff. It's not static. It's like active, and it looks real cool. And so they had the Star Wars costumes. There was a Darth Vader there. There was a full-sized R2-D2. And so we sort of crashed their set a little bit. We're trying not to do it too much.
No.
Because we don't want to piss them off.
You don't want to annoy them.
I don't want to annoy them. That's what I said.
The R2-D2 is quite interesting because he's there every year, and one year he must have just brought it in, and he was coming in like a side exit, and it was like he had the whole back of it off, and he was trying to get it to go. I don't know what was wrong with it, but I think he was charging it up or trying to get the remote control to work with it. It was all sorts of strange just watching him trying to get the thing to go.
It just sat there. It didn't move at all. It just sat there. So I thought it was just
unless there's more people with R2. There probably is more people because you can buy plans online and stuff.
Yeah. So but it looked really good. So so we got a lot of photos there. We got a lot of photos with other people in costume, which was great. There was a dummy toy box that kids go in and put on Marvel gear, and
cool.
They stand in the toy box, so they've got it's a toy. So we all did that. We've got our own action figures now, at least online and photos.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that.
I just posted that on my Facebook just before you got here, I think.
I'll have to check that out.
So that was cool. But one of the biggest things that I saw was we did go and listen to some local directors. So there were 3 directors or 3 filmmakers. I think they're all Auckland based, and they're doing feature films. And there's Stella 459. Got to get the numbers right. Stella 459, which is a steampunk style movie. And it's the mining is in Jupiter, and there's a big steam train looking thing that goes through space that they heist the payroll from. So it's a train heist in space. steampunk styles. I got to say the special effects and the animation looks, because we saw a trailer.
I think I've seen that trailer. It sounds very familiar.
Yeah, the animation stuff looks great. So that was really cool. Then some of the acting was sort of a bit, ooh, okay, yeah. But you get that thing where you listen to a Kiwi on film and you go, do we sound like that?
So when you see a Kiwi that's making it big in Hollywood, do you have more respect for them because you understand how much they've had to hone their craft to not come across as a Kiwi?
I think all the actors that are really good can do whatever accent. I mean, you look at House; he doesn't sound English at all when he's in America, and Ewan McGregor has a totally different thing, and David Tennant sounds quite different.
Yes.
In an interview than he does on thing. So Sam Neill, he's a Kiwi, right? Is he?
Yeah.
He just lived here. Yeah. He doesn't sound Kiwi at all.
No.
In films, However, Temeraire of Morrison in Star Wars, particularly as Boy, where he goes, "Hey, Dad, there's someone at the door."
Make me some eggs, woman.
That was funny. But yeah, so there were two other movies, and the other one was ARA, A-R-A, which had a really good science fiction sort of plot, and they've done something like 48 days of filming, which is a huge amount.
Wow, that's cool.
Of filming, and they're currently in post-production. And it's a really interesting plot, and I won't really go through it, but if you go into Facebook and you search for ARA-movie, you'll find it. And the other one was The Last Star, and I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. It's well done and stuff. But it wasn't until the director was talking about the story that I went, man, that's awesome. How come I didn't hear that in the trailer?
Oh, so it wasn't portrayed in the trailer?
No, the big story is that, in the universe, all the stars are winking out, over time.
Yep.
And this is the last star left in the universe. Everything else is void. And there's these people that are feeding energy, like priesty type people, I guess, feeding energy back into the star to keep going as long as they can. But because it's the last star in the universe, all these other civilizations are flying in. And of course, there's conflict after conflict after conflict.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. It's a brilliant idea.
So these three films by the three directors, are they all independent?
They're all independent of each other, yeah. And they're all only one of them did a little bit of Kickstarter funding.
Oh, yeah.
They're all self-funded. None of them went for the film commission because it's impossible if you do science fiction effectively.
Do you think they're not a fan of science fiction? Or is it just...
film commission, no.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
Well, it's really hard to get a science fiction thing going with that. So like with our one, Star Wars Outcasts, it's a Star Wars fan film. So we can't really ask for funding for that. And our plan, as you know, as I might have mentioned before, is we're doing 5 little short episodes, and then we're doing the featurette, which is 20 minutes. Then, when we've told that story, brought those characters together, then we're going to go to Kickstarter and say, if you want us to continue telling the story, give us some money.
I think that's a great way of doing it.
Yeah.
It just seems to make so much more sense. Instead of just saying, give me some money for this idea in my head that I've written on paper, this is what we've done so far, these are the characters. If you like the story and you want it to grow and carry on, let's do the funding.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I mean, it's going to be interesting when we get to that final feature because our final little featurette before we ask for funding, because hopefully we'll be much better then. Episode 1 and 2 and 3 might be a little bit more slack as we don't know what we're doing and we're getting more people on board. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to prove that we could do it beforehand. We've got a great story, I think. And but
so
yeah,
how were you perceived at Armageddon? Was there a lot of
yeah? Well,
what's the word?
I made a mistake.
Hype.
I'm going to put my hand up and be the bad guy on this one. I didn't get the flyers done for it, so we didn't have anything to hand out. I know.
So you look like just some people dressed up. And
so every
stuff.
time people started crowding around to take photos, I'd be like, StarWarsOutcast.com, go and check it out.
They will not remember that.
I know. So we're getting some flyers done.
Worst case scenario is you should have had a Sharpie and just written it on their hand. Honestly, just go, come here, Star Wars Outcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so that was my bad. It was a bit of a miscommunication. I thought somebody else was doing it.
Oh, okay.
And so it never happened. And next time we'll have a cardboard thing that we can hold at the bottom of the frame of the photos.
Yes.
So yeah, we're gonna make.
So the next one that you'd be
awesome.
gearing up for would be Armageddon again, but in Hamilton.
Yeah, I guess so. But we're thinking about doing some other public events if we can get to them. So
Cool. That'll
don't
be
know
awesome.
what yet, but
Yeah.
But it's worked out really good so far. We got a lot of really good feedback. Anyway, so that's the Armageddon experience. But do check out those films. It's Ara-movie, Stella 459, and Last Star. They look pretty good. None of them are finished yet, but jump onto their Facebook pages. They've all got Facebook pages, so you can see what happens.
Yeah, we'll hunt out the links and put them in the show notes.
Yep, absolutely.
So you can check that out at thechrisandsampodcast.com.
Yay.
Where all the episodes are and all the show notes. But what I was going to say, Armageddon, if you don't follow them on Facebook, follow them on Facebook, the expo themselves. They post some awesome photos of the people that have attended, and they've got some cool information and prizes and things throughout the year. And one of the things they were posting on, I think it was late Saturday, and this was for the people on Sunday, make sure you bring cash, because all the FPOS went down, apparently.
Oh, dude, I posted on my Facebook page, we are here, wherever it was, opposite the Disney Infinity thing, and it wouldn't post. 14 hours later, it posted.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I had to put on the comments,
Yeah,
I'm no longer at Armageddon. This took
Because when
14
you go to Armageddon, they've got one ATM machine inside, and when you come in one of the doors, you're trying to figure out what everyone's queuing up for, because you're like, this must be amazing. And then once you've scanned past the 400 people, you realise it's the ATM machine, and no one brought cash with them.
Yeah, there was 2 ATM machines outside this time as well.
Oh,
which
very
was
good,
pretty
very
cool.
good.
Cool. But yeah, and a lot of places had FPOS, but we got a pizza at one of these places, and we had to sign the FPOS because they couldn't.
Yeah.
The phone network was down.
And that would have thrown a lot of young people, because young people do not understand how the old zip zap.
I didn't have to do zip zap it. They still slid it through, and it came out with a receipt, and you had to sign the receipt.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of young people don't know how to sign their name. So
No. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
But yeah, so that was really cool. And funny enough, I have to say now, Armageddon Hamilton, first one 3 years ago, I went as a zombie because they had the zombie walk, and they used my photo.
Your photo pops up everywhere.
I know, they used that photo as a zombie to advertise Armageddon for like 3 years after that.
You look better as a zombie than a normal person.
I know.
You should put that, actually, you should use that for everything. Here's my business card. My face is half ripped off, yeah.
Yeah, it did look good, actually. Anyway, so how was your weekend?
Yeah, my weekend was pretty good. I ended up in Rotorua. That's where I'm originally from, so I know my way around quite well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I escaped many years ago, ended up in Tauranga for a little bit, and then came to Hamilton, and I've been here almost 10 years now, I think, maybe.
Okay.
It's close to that. So I ended up in Rotorua and ended up going to the Buried Village. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or been to it.
No. Actually, I wonder if I have when I was a kid.
Well, that's interesting. The last time I was there was a kid as well. It's the most visited archaeological site in New Zealand, where stories from the 1886 Mount Tarawera eruption come to life. So basically what happened is in 1886, Mount Tarawera erupted, covered everything in ash and killed everyone. And over time...
That was the pink terraces one, eh?
Yes. Took out the pink and white terraces and all that good stuff. So the reason for going there, my daughter had a book on Pompeii from school, and she seemed to be really fascinated with that. So I decided to take her to the Buried Village, which is pretty cool. And the Buried Village people are really nice. They asked if I was a local. I said, look, I used to be way back in the day. Don't worry, we'll just charge you. So only I had to pay to get in, which I thought was quite nice.
That's cool.
And we were walking around, and what they've got for the kids, and all the kids there were doing it, they have these little clues. They give you the very first one, and you have to find out where the other ones are around the whole site.
Oh, yeah.
So while they're
cool.
not exactly taking in all the written information, because it's a lot of information if you were to sit there and read everything in the museum and then outside as you walk around.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of, you come across the old hotel, and there's the old cellar, and you see what's left of that. There's the old blacksmith's house, all the stuff they've excavated all the old Maori fuddies / houses, all that sorts of stuff. And right at the end is a very awesome looking waterfall that you can go and see. But
when you say waterfall, are we talking a frozen waterfall or an actual waterfall?
No, actual waterfall. Waterfall. And it's really nice. I'll show you some photos later. And the thing is, if you've got children, you will understand what I'm about to tell you. When you have a child with you and you're going somewhere, they will need to go to the toilet when you are the furthest point away from a toilet. So we were walking around and we were miles away, and we've got this little map. I need to go to the toilet now. I was like, okay, can you go in the bushes over there? No, I can't. Okay. Can you hold it in? Yeah, okay, I'm good. Let's just keep going then for a little bit. I really need to go to the toilet. Look, can you go in the... No, I can't go in the bushes. I have to do a poo. Okay. So we sort of Olympic sprinted it back to the start. We missed the waterfall because that was a massive detour, and we ended up back at the start. After being to the toilet, went back to the front, gave the woman the card, the map that we had, and she said, how was it? Did you find the final clue? I said, look, we didn't find the final clue, but I know where it was. Oh, okay, cool. Here's a chocolate coin for your daughter. Okay, cool. Thanks for that. I said, can I go back in and can we look at the waterfall because we missed it? Yeah, no worries. That's fine. And I thought that was really cool. Thank you so much. How's the fastest way to get to the waterfall? There's not really. So we went around again. So we managed to look at the place twice, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and so did your daughter really enjoy it with the Pompeii experience? Did she?
Yeah. It was just the whole experience of everything got buried, and then they found all this stuff and dug it all up, and then we saw the waterfall, and that was really good.
How old's your daughter again?
She's 6.
Okay.
Yep. Going on 26. So that was good. After that, we went to the Redwoods, which is Whakarewarewa Forest. If you're wondering where that is, look that up. But that's completely free, and we went for a walk there, and it's just amazing.
They're huge, aren't they?
Yeah, huge trees.
I haven't been there, but yeah.
Oh, you should. They've got world-class mountain bike tracks, and if you're into mountain biking, check that out. And then the following day, following on from our museum theme, we went to the I'm going to read this so I get it right, Amarangi Trust Museum, which is out towards the airport. It's only open on Thursdays and Sundays, and it's only open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m, so make sure you check that out. They're on Facebook. I'll put a link at the bottom. It's all run by volunteers, so they don't really have much time, and the biggest thing anyone can do is spread the word, and it's just...
What have they got?
Oh, wow, it's a whole bunch of European / Maori old artifacts and things, and all sorts of buildings and things, but one of the biggest, I guess, attractions is the amount of steam-powered equipment they have. They have a steam tractor, which is this huge... And they had that going, so you drove it in and out.
Wow.
And I don't know if you've ever been, but in Rotorua, they've got a place called Kurau Park.
No.
And Kurau Park is a free open area, and it's always got geothermal activities, and about once or twice a year someone falls into a pit to their death. They usually drunk.
As you do, yeah.
As you do, but one of the major attractions, one of the coolest things when we were growing up as kids in Rotorua was the playground, and this playground was huge, and they had all sorts of different stuff, and I mean, they had a tank. They had an actual tank from the war. I don't know where they got it from. And you used to be able to climb in and out of this tank. And then that
would have been awesome.
And then they had these massive towers and everything. And then years and years ago, they got rid of everything and they just built a bog standard little playground that you can see everywhere. But one of the things they had there was this huge steam tractor that was just sitting there and you could climb on it. But when all that got moved down, these guys ended up with it in 2010 and they rebuilt it and they actually drive it around now.
Wow. God, that would have been a mission to rebuild.
Yeah.
Sitting outside and
But I guess the majority of it was there, built. It was almost ready to go. So the museum's really good. It's sort of out of the way, and if you don't know about it, you probably never find it. But one of the highlights was some fossilized sausages that they found somewhere in this display case.
That's a highlight.
Yeah, well, it is to me. I like the weird stuff like that.
Okay.
It just makes you think, though, because this is run by volunteers. They're all quite old.
Yeah.
I think it was about 6 old guys roaming around, and there's a little train you can go on. It goes around in a loop. I just don't know what's going to happen with all this stuff when
the old people start dying off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're not there to volunteer and fix things and do things up. I don't know. But check it out if you're in Rotorua. It's pretty good.
Cool.
So last podcast, you challenged me to come up with my most embarrassing story, and I've got one, but it's not. I've got a feeling it's going to be nothing compared to what you're about to tell me.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what. I'll give you my second most embarrassing story because I have a lot of them. Like a lot of them. But
Okay.
So I'll tell you, it's probably my second most embarrassing story. So we were living in Spain, and we went to the markets, right?
Yeah.
And it was just the fruit market. It was just on the way home. You've got lots of, food market, I should say, is, dead rabbits hanging over here and seafood and crabs trying to get out of a bucket with the other crabs.
Yeah, a real authentic market.
Yeah. And so I was getting some fruit, actually, and I went along and I saw these peaches and I thought, yep, grab some peaches. Now, it's so hot over there. This was south of Spain, La Línea de la Concepción was where we were staying.
Oh, look at you busting out the old Spanish.
Well, that was the name of the town. So anyway, my flatmate had been there for a while. He spoke fluent Spanish. I'd only been there a few months, and I could get by, but not really good. My vocab was pretty crap.
Yeah. Okay.
So I see these things, and it's got PECHE for these peaches, I'm like... So I walk up, and there's this little old lady. You know how the Mediterranean women are just like...
This is like a stereotypical...
Oh, yeah, little old crinkly-eyed, crinkly-faced woman, sort of little hunched down. And I'm like, un kilo de picha, por favor. And
Okay.
her mouth just opens. You can see both teeth. And she's smart.
Yeah.
She's just, her eyes just widen. And I'm like, oh, man, maybe she's deaf. So I said... And then she goes, ¿Qué? Which is what?
Yeah.
And I was like, un kilo de picha, por favor. And she's like, oh! And she starts waving her arms and rattling off Spanish really quickly and gets all the other people from the other stalls, Scotia, which is Scotia means, listen, I sort of knew this. And I'm like, yeah, maybe she is deaf and she just can't understand what I'm saying. So they're all there and they're all going, what? And I'm like, if I said, okay, un kilo de picha, por favor. And they all just totally piss themselves laughing. Just at that moment, Gary, this English guy, my flatmate that had been...
Oh, the fluent speaker turns up.
He goes, what did you just say? And I told him and he goes, yes, I see your problem. So see that little hat on the E, so it's P-E with a little hat on it, C-H-E. That's pish. Pish is peach. Pisha is penis. And these girls were still laughing me. I went bright red. I did get a lot of peaches in my kilo of peaches. I think they felt sorry for me. So
I'm sure they did. You would have felt pretty special.
That's how you learn a language, You
have to fully immerse yourself in it.
And you just give it a go.
Yeah.
So after 6 months, I was actually translating for people who'd been living there for 2-3 years.
Craziness.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Because a lot of the English wouldn't even try.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, did you have a story? Have we got time?
Yeah, we've got time. We'll stretch it out. My story, if you imagine the Warehouse, which is a big shop here in New Zealand, if you didn't know what that was, at Christmas time it's absolutely very, very busy. There's lots and lots of people around. I think I had a voucher or something, I don't know. And I was there and I was buying an actual CD. So this is quite a few years ago. And what they do here is they don't do any returns on CDs or DVDs in case you obviously copy them and pirate them. So before they do that, they make sure that they hold the CD up and show you that there's no scratches on this thing. And
that's right.
Yeah. And you take up the CD case and then they rummage through a drawer with a million little envelopes and they pull out your CD and then go to show you. As the chick pulls it out, she says, in her loudest voice possible, to everyone within like 100 meters of where I was standing, "Oh my God, there's a pube on the CD." And everyone like spun around and looked at me, and I was just like, well, obviously I just didn't put it on there, but I couldn't really say anything. So, and then she put that to the side, and then got me another clean copy. And that was my embarrassing story that I can think of.
That's hilarious. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell my more embarrassing story at another time, I think.
Very good.
So that's pretty much us for today, I think, is it?
That is. Yeah, we'll wrap this up.
Yep. So those of you listening, don't forget to check out the show notes on the Chris and Sam podcast.com. And also, make sure if you're listening to us in iTunes or Stitcher or whatever your podcasting software is, hit the subscribe button.
Make sure to subscribe.
Yeah.
And share it with anyone that would like to hear us talk about
Tell your
things.
friend about it.
Tell your friend.
All right. Cheers.
Okay, see ya.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to subscribe and we'll catch you next week. Don't forget to tell your friend.